hello, and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. No on-location reports this week, no songs, no anything, no weirdness. Just me saying thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying our adventures. If you're new and this is your first episode of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are one of our 3 regular listeners, then you are much appreciated. If you get the opportunity to open your podcast app on your phone or device and add a nice little rating for us or add a review, that helps us in terms of our listings. Otherwise, I have no news for you. And let's get on with episode 33 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Gecko Beach.
Could be the biscuit, might not be.
Need another DM ruling, Mike.
Well, let's hold on. Let's get that in a second.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Good evening, everybody. We are back. I am with the guys. Hello, guys.
Hello.
And where we left things, our band of idiots.
Intrepid explorers.
I'm sorry, I always get those two mixed up. Our band of intrepid explorers have been following the trail of some captives, some hostages captured by the Lizardfolk, and they followed them to their lair deep in the mist marsh. Cuthbert, the probe, under the cover of an invisibility spell, has padded his way into the Lizardfolk lair. During the meanwhile, the rest of our lot have, basically lost patience. The idea was they were going to wait for him to come back, but they couldn't be bothered, so they started heading off after him and got themselves entangled with an awful encounter with some harpies, or harples, who have charmed Parker and have peppered Bugraft with their clubs and their claws. And Parker was grabbed by a giant constrictor snake. But all of these foes have been fought off, apart from one Boss Harpy, that at the end of our last session streaked southward, screeching blue murder, screeching alarm, and Cuthbert, deep in the lair of the Lizardfolk, has heard the arrival of this creature, and the Lizardfolk have been stirred up into a state of alert.
Can I, as a point of order, the rest of us did not lose patience and start tracking through the woods.
I was paraphrasing.
Yeah, no, I just wanted on record that it was Parker and Bugraft. It was those two
who had bailed out again.
Yeah, that basically caused all the trouble.
To clarify, it wasn't losing patience. I just thought that if Cuthbert needed assistance, rapid assistance, it would not be possible to do that from a distance. So we proceeded forward on the basis that we were trying to get closer to afford assistance.
And let's be honest, Dan, they were also waiting for us. So one assumes the minute that all of us would have moved forward, we'd have all been attacked anyway.
Yes, but the idea was for Paul to go and scout.
Yeah.
And then to come back and report.
Or blow his horn.
Lucas cranking up the power on the retrospectoscope. Anyway, look, let us let us move on and pick up the action. Back outside the lair, we have to leave Cuthbert and the alerted Lizardfolk for a moment and go back outside to the swamp, because, in fact, it is the round of the mysterious Parker. What do you
want to do? Can I see Burple from where I am? Is this not visible through this?
Yes, you can see Burple. You've got dark vision and you're standing in the middle of a light spell. Neither one of which doesn't necessarily help the other.
And is this difficult ground?
It's difficult ground. You can see Burple through the trees to your north. He seems to be involved in a struggle with a flappy creature.
You say struggle?
Well, I can move 5.
My thinking was to do a Lemon's tiny hut, bearing in mind you're on 1 hit point.
So I'm not on 1 hit point anymore. I'm on 11.
But also a lot of the threat has disappeared, the immediate threat. So doing that Lemon's tiny hut is not really going to be as useful as it was. So the need to come near me has kind of passed.
No, but I was going to go up and attack the harpy.
Oh yeah, fine. Yeah, fine.
Oh, in that case.
In that case, yeah.
Just seemed to me.
By all means.
I will move towards Burple.
Yes.
It's difficult ground, so I can slosh 5 squares.
Yeah.
And then I will do a produce flame.
Yes.
And hurl it at this creature.
Yeah. Roll whatever it is.
Hitting armor class Oh, that's an 18.
Yeah.
Plus 5 is 23.
23 is, an absolute humdinger of a hit.
Right, and then doing 2d8. 11 points of damage on it.
11 is not insignificant on this thing. It doesn't look very happy about that whatsoever.
And that's me done.
Very nice. Let's move on to Brave, Bold Bugraft. The belligerent.
Number 1 super guy.
Nobody's going off to make tea or anything this time. You know?
Good idea.
Oh yeah, sorry. I need to make a cup of tea.
Get a beer. Yeah, sorry. But you have your round, Bugraft. We'll all just do something else.
People are going to actually listen to my go rather than just sort of wandering off.
Sorry, what was that?
Well,
What's going to happen this year?
Right.
Is it
Okay.
compulsory?
Yeah. Right. So I'm attacking the same one I did last time, and I'm rolling this, and adding 7. So that's a 19.
19 is a hit.
Okay, and I do 16 points de damage.
It is slain by you, Bugraft. Your greatsword lances through its leathery body, and it flaps to the ground like a dead sparrow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very well done. And we move on to Purple Harpy.
Well, Purple is going to strike the one next to him with his sword.
Yep.
With his long sword. So long sword like this does. It's hits armor class 24.
Here's a hit. Here's a hit.
Doing 11, and I think. Do I need to know the result?
None of us know what you're talking about.
So, Psychic Blades, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to deal an extra 3d6 psychic damage to that target. Is it dead?
Oh, I see. You're arguing that you roll the damage and then decide?
Yeah.
It isn't dead.
Okay, well, I'll throw in 3d6 psychic damage.
Okay. We'll revisit this, but I'm being nice.
Yes, you are being very nice. If a little mistaken.
The Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action?
No, this is Psychic Blades. It's slightly different. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to deal an extra 3d6 psychic damage.
I'm not being that lenient. Okay. Yeah.
26 points of damage.
Yeah. Well, the extra Bardic Inspiration you threw into that blow was sufficient, and the Psychic Blades enmesh and shear away the mental power of this creature, and it explodes in a giant ball of feathers. I'm trying to think of interesting flying creature deaths.
That was quite interesting. Well, I think you could have
it
imagined its wings being sliced off by invisible forces.
Oh, everybody's a DM
Maybe
now.
it just explodes from the middle. That psychic damage just blows out its head.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like scanners.
Feathers.
Scanners.
Muppet.
Oh, for God's sake. Sessions Epa. It's your turn.
I think,
you can hear and sort of see most of this, so you think that Burple and Parker have whatever. You know that Bugraft is still struggling to fight off this creature, and you definitely know that this thing has streaked south, screeching an alarm, heading towards where you think Cuthbert was headed.
Right, well, I think I'll try and rejoin the others.
So you're going to sort of slosh west?
Yeah, I'm going to slosh west, do something or other.
Slosh west to where the others are.
Slosh west.
As far as your tiny little legs can carry you.
Yep. And west and a little bit north, obviously, to...
You reach the stand of trees where you think the fight was taking place, and you can sort of see Burple and Parker off up to not very far from you. I mean, like 30, 40 feet away from you in the dark.
Okay, and then I guess just for the...
Shits and giggles.
Yeah, just in case it's needed, I will move as a bonus action, my duplicitous me down towards Bugraft.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, very kind.
There's no getting around this. We are going back to Cuthbert. Nobody wants to do Cuthbert's round, least of all me. It's normally pretty tedious stuff.
It's just a probe, isn't he? So.
Yeah, it's just...
Probe 1.
It's just a shocking embarrassment. Anyway,
always
Cuthbert.
a bit tricky when the probe gets stuck.
What is Cuthbert going to do? Cuthbert, so you've got shouts of alarm from your north, the chamber that you looked in where there was one of the lizard folk was clearly under the influence of, or being under the malign effect of these little worms. And you've got shouting behind you down the little flight of stairs that you just sort of poked your nose around the corner of, but didn't decide to go any further. You've got a screeching coming from sort of dead ahead of you to your east, that's coming from an area where you can see bird droppings on the floor of a corridor.
Bird droppings? Do you mean
bird droppings?
Bird droppings?
And bird droppings. And then you've got to your left, therefore heading north, you've got the way out.
I think, in effect, what I'd like to do is, because I've still, I think, got some ball bearings left. I've actually got quite a few ball bearings left. I think I'd like to throw a handful of them down the passageway that's going to my west and south down the stairs. Mm-hmm. Where that shouting's coming from. But I'd also like to head my way to that little alcovey where I don't know what was in it, I can't remember. Some kind of weaponry.
Well, there's a little water
water
jar.
closet. Oh, yeah, water.
Water jar and some javelins and some shields and some clubs.
And just try and tuck myself inside there and hide.
Could you give me, please, Cuthbert, an insight check?
An insight check?
Well, I don't know if insight is actually the most relevant skill, but it's I can't be bothered to mess about with trying to pick the right thing. Give me an insight check.
I'll give you an insight check.
Your sense is that you reached here completely undetected.
Yeah.
So when Lizardfolk are shouting about intruders, and when this alarm has been raised, you don't know by what, but something that's clearly come from the outside, you don't think necessarily that anybody's got any idea that you're there.
Yes, that's true. They're talking about intruders into the area, not into this.
But very possibly. This is the thing I was just trying to make sure was clear.
Ah, yeah.
Can you give me an intelligence check?
That's a different matter. Let me just check. Yeah, as I suspected.
Well, let's have a look.
The thing about having a very low intelligence is it kind of plays with me as well. 11.
Well, 11, to be honest, is really all you needed. 10 was what you needed. You reach in your codpiece for your ball bearings.
Yeah.
And your hand hesitates on the smooth spheres within your codpiece.
Thank you.
As you think to yourself, I don't know that throwing tiny metal balls into a structure that's effectively made up of twisted mud and branches is going to necessarily have the sort of rattly, deceptive effect.
No, it's not, is it? They're just going to. They're just. It's not a stone dungeon.
It's not something where they were going to ping about and maybe
distract.
Sound like it's. Yeah, it's not Ben Kenobi on the tractor beam control. It's more. Well, there is. I'm fumbling for something.
There is no similarity. It's never been done before.
Throwing marbles into wet sand. But anyway, whatever it is, it's not going to... Yeah, there we go. That's what you know.
Nobody's thrown ball bearings into mud.
No. With that in mind, what do you want to do?
In which case, instead of taking out actions, throwing ball bearings into mud, I think I'm going to head for that room with a water jar and hide.
Yeah, still head for the alcove. Yeah.
Still head for the alcove and hide. Tuck myself away.
I like it.
And observe.
Well, what you observe, first of all, is some lizardfolk.
Yep.
One lizardfolk emerges from the passage you've just ghosted down. I mean, you've missed them running over you by an instant.
Mm-hmm.
They dart to the junction. They look briefly north up the passageway to the exit, and then they turn towards you, but they can't see you.
Yeah.
And they reach into the alcove, and as you flatten yourself against the wall, they grab a javelin from the side that's propped up against the wall, and then head back out again. And you can hear the padding, the squelching of more creatures coming towards you. But just as that happens, you hear the sound of something that sounds different, doesn't sound like it's walking in the same way. What it sounds like is a pigeon trapped in a loft, Cuthbert.
Okay.
Something is moving towards you from your east, from the bird dropping corridor.
Bird dropping.
And there's screeching going on from there as well. You think whatever it is that was screeching originally is now inside the complex and is flapping about and bouncing and basically shouting blue murder quite near you. And then the final thing is from the back where you came, from where this creature has emerged, you hear a different tone. You hear a lizardfolk shout out, "Roger! What's happened to Roger? Something awful's happened to Roger!" And we will leave that and we will move
They're very well
back
bred,
outside.
these lizardfolk.
We'll move back out to
It's very off-putting. I keep thinking it must be a human that you're doing it.
Yes. We move back out to the swamp and Parker. What do you want to do, Parker?
Right. Well, I will move 5 squares in the direction of Bugraft, and then I will do a produce flame on this harpy, hitting armor class.
Don't go too far.
9. That's as far as I can go. 9.
Well, don't go too
plus-
far, because I can't reach you there and do a spell on you. Can you go one back?
Right. Okay. 9 plus 5 is armor class 14 on the harpy.
14 is a hit. Yeah.
14 is a hit, doing 2d8 damage. 2 of those. Ooh, 11 points of damage on that.
Okay, I mean, this creature is as yet unwounded, but that looks like a significant blow. Doesn't like that at all. And we move on to Bugraft, who's standing right next to it.
I'll bash it with my great-sword.
Yep, give it a shot.
Not that great, but I'll have another go.
No, it's okay. An adequate sword.
It's an adequate sword. I roll a 14.
14 is enough. That's adequate.
It's adequate with an adequate sword. I roll the following damage. 6. It's 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage, and it is still in the fight, but it looks very unwell. And we move on to Burple.
Burple, how wounded are you, Peter Parker?
I've
Peter
got
Parker.
11 from 48 hit points.
Okay, I'll move up behind Parker to the north of Parker, and I'm doing a Cure Wounds, which does what is that?
15.
That's an 18. Yeah, so 18 points of healing.
That sorted Parker out, and no mistake, Governor.
Well,
Lovely. Thank you very
wanna say,
much.
In one round, I frightened off the snake. The next round, I killed the harpy. In the third round, I healed Parker. I'm quite liking this bard now, I have to say.
Yeah.
All of
Very
a sudden,
much.
He's slightly different.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah, I didn't like him before.
Yeah, but now you like him. Okay,
now
Session Deeper.
Everyone seems to be handling things quite well. I will. I'll toll the dead on the harple. On the harple. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Might as well
Okay.
throw that out there.
Does it get to make a save?
Yeah, it gets to make a wisdom save. Remembering the game we're
Save.
playing. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, wisdom save. Okay.
DC
Not great at wisdom
13.
saves. DC 13. Rolling
14. Sorry,
a-
DC 14. A 1. Critical
That's-
fail.
Well, if we were playing a different game, how much damage? It has been wounded.
It has been wounded, so it takes 2d12.
Oh, blimey. It's not going to survive this unless you roll absolute pony.
Yeah. 3 and... 3.
Just
6.
call him Shergar.
It's still alive. You did roll. Yeah.
You rolled pony.
Yeah, you did roll pony.
You
There we
rolled
go.
a Shergar.
Okay, it's still alive.
And I'll move myself
That's a bit
1,
weak,
2,
Paula.
3.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is quite weak. Yeah.
That's quite weak. Nay, I say.
That's funnier.
That's a little bit funnier. I'm gonna laugh myself hoarse.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
You need to get a winning mentality.
Cuthbert, back with you.
Well,
You've got a lizard person standing right there. I mean, 5 feet from you. It looks like they're preparing to exit the lair.
yeah.
And you've got the sound of multiple signals, much activity around you, and clearly somebody has just discovered that Roger has got problems with worms.
So Roger's got problems with worms. I've been funneling with my ball bearings in my codpiece, but I've got the option to blow my horn.
I mean,
It was a good try. I mean,
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
people put years into developing this game.
How do you mute Paul again?
Well, what I've done is I've hired somebody to go and pull a bag over his head.
I don't really want to draw attention to myself. I
It's quite difficult to draw attention to yourself. I mean, unless you...
actually do something.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I think I'm just
be a
gonna
great time
hold
to
fire.
cast another concentration spell.
Shut up. I think
I did wonder whether or not Burple was going to take damage at some extremely inopportune moment.
Yes, I was wondering that.
I'm going to stay as I am, Mike. I think I'm just going to stay here.
You're just going to stand there,
I'm going to
or rather hide
crouch,
there.
hide.
Fine. Well, there are more developments.
Brilliant.
A lizardfolk runs past the entrance to your alcove of cowardice.
Yes.
shouting, "The eggs! The eggs! We must protect the eggs!" And they run down the corridor with the bird droppings.
Bird dropping.
Ping.
And you hear them kind of disappear off into the darkness.
Okay.
Something nasty emerges from your arse. I'm sorry.
I won't.
Something nasty emerges from your east. I couldn't resist that. It's clearly ungainly, and it is
Covered in worms.
No, it's some kind of bird lizard hybrid creature. Black, slick, muscular, winged, and clearly not in its kind of home environment, or rather, not a fish out of water, a bird out of air. I mean, it's not a thing, is it? That's not a phrase. Anyway, it's a harpal, Cuthbert, but you don't really know what that means because you've not seen these things before. You have no idea about what's been going on outside. But this thing kind of clambers its way into the junction and is sniffing around with its weird kind of elongated face.
Okay. Oh no.
And it turns its head towards the alcove, and it's like, and it just goes,
Oh no.
and starts padding towards you.
You're
Now,
food.
that was a 20, by the way, for our readers on its perception check. You don't get the sense that it's not looking at you, Cuthbert. It's not looking directly at you. It can't see you, but it's definitely can sense that there's something there. Man flesh.
Okay.
And there is more motion around you as well. There's another lizardfolk emerges from the passageway to your where the snoring was originally coming from, and looks sort of it doesn't quite know how to interact with the harpy.
Yeah.
It piles down. It was going to go into the alcove that you're hiding in. The harpy is kind of blocking the entrance to it, and the lizard man just goes heading off to the north.
Okay.
Back out in the swamp. It's Parker.
Right, so we need to... Oh, we haven't killed this thing yet, have we?
There's a harpy still on Bugraft.
Right. Well, seeing as we're... So I will move another 5 squares towards Bugraft.
Yeah.
And then I will do another reduced flame,
Yep.
hitting armor class.
I mean, this thing looks like it's absolute...
13 plus
that's a
5
hit,
is
and
18. 2d8.
It's like a flash fire. It just goes up like a torch, screeching, lighting up the swamp around it as it burns away, and you have destroyed it,
Right.
leaving Bugraft standing there with his adequate sword going, What does Bugraft want to do?
Head south.
Head south.
Head south.
Okay,
How are you doing for hit points?
I've got 23 out of 48, so I wouldn't mind some more for heals going.
How are you doing for spells, Graham?
I have, well, not too bad, I suppose. I've only used a couple.
I've used about half.
The
mine.
entrance to this area is to your south west, and you can clearly hear the sounds of agitation.
How many hit points is Parker on?
I'm on 29 now,
Oh, and 29. So how many down are you?
out of 48. So basically 19 down on...
And Bugraft, how many are you down?
I'm on 23 out of 48.
I can do a heal on myself.
I can as well, but I'm going to stop raging.
You're going to stop raging anyhow.
What effect would that have?
You're raging, you have to attack something
Become mildly annoying.
or take damage, so
I don't think it's got any negative things, which sounds a bit odd.
it hasn't.
Okay.
You're fine.
So I'll stop raging,
Yep.
and then I'll cast a spell on myself. I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Okay, and then Burple.
Purple's going to move to the south.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
So I'm just thinking if there's anything
So we need to regroup a bit now.
spell-wise I want to do. And
I've got 6 hit points,
8
just for the readers, so they know,
8 Punkte Arm.
just in case they're keeping a track of hit points.
They're not.
auf dem Kopf dem Monster.
Ja, mit mein +3 Schwert.
I don't...
Yeah, what do you want to do, Burple?
That's a move. I'm not going to do anything else.
You can hear the sound of agitated lizardfolk, not super distantly to your southwest, but you've not been seen yet, chaps. So you've got a decision to make.
We could hunker down.
You don't know you have no idea what's going on with Cuthbert, but
Exactly.
Cuthbert hasn't blown his horn.
He's very protective of his horn.
Not his horn anyway, it's just loaned.
Well, we've been into that before, but
Loaning somebody the horn is...
you can't see anything happening because it's too dark, but you can hear the sounds of agitation.
Can we not even see? Wouldn't there be people with torches?
There are no people with torches, at least not yet.
So we've got some time to make ourselves scarce.
Why don't we loot the bodies? That's what I'm going to do.
And then what?
Let's see if they've got a nest where they might have some treasure while we wait for...
The big one is still out there.
Yeah, but he was up a tree, wasn't he? So maybe they have a nest in a tree. Or, of course, in the caves. But
I'm just wondering how much time we have.
Well, we don't know what's going on anywhere
Your
else,
sense
do
is
we?
that the big one made a beeline for the lair that Cuthbert was in.
Yeah,
or was
we
going
know
towards.
that their motive. How far south of us is
Not far. I mean, not far at all. There's a little bit of open swamp ground between the bottom left-hand corner of the map that we're looking at. Sorry, readers, but that's just the way we're dealing with it. And the actual entrance, probably 40 or 50 feet. So you're really only, with the difficult ground, perhaps 3 or 4 turns worth of movement away from the entrance.
moves?
Yeah.
Is there an obvious place where we might be able to hunker down here?
Well, I mean, the place is basically a festival of hunkering down.
Right.
It's a mishmash of low tussocks, mounds, but
if they come out searching,
sedge, well, that's different. Yeah, that would be more difficult, and it's their territory.
Yeah.
And they can fly.
Well, the harpals can. I don't think the lizard men can.
Well, there's only one harpal that you know of,
Yeah.
the big one that headed off to raise the alarm. The others are all dead.
All right.
It's a great place to hide in the dark from someone, but if you wanted to pick someone you wouldn't want to hide from, it would probably be one of the lizard folk patrolling their own territory near their lair.
Yeah.
That said, somebody would need to get pretty close to you to have a chance of spotting you.
So if we move away from the area that we're currently, where we were last seen, to a different location, that might make some kind of...
It depends upon what intelligence the lead harpal is able to communicate to the...
True. Okay. Well, if they come to us, we can deal with that as they come. All right. So I think Graham's right. I think we search the bodies.
There's nothing on the bodies. Of the dead harpals, nothing. I mean,
might
they
be
have clubs on them, scraps of clothing, that's it. If they have a lair, you've either not found it or it's within the lizardfolk lair. But you can certainly spend your round, Burple, frisking the one that's dead,
That's my
lying
round.
next to you. Okay, and Sessions?
Well, I guess I'll frisk one
Okay.
for my round while we
let's-
learn that there's nothing on them.
So, Cuthbert, this thing is peering, sniffing into this, into your little alcove of cowardice, Cuthbert. It's like, it's kind of the touch of the alien about it, I think. It's got that sort of beak-like... A harpy's got like a human face, but it's like that sort of weird, distended, extended jaw, almost. Do you know what I mean? Kind of creepy, and it's sniffing the air. You can just tell that it's picked up your scent.
I think I've got a choice, which is I either continue to try and be a coward, or because it hasn't had a turn in an attack, which means I can get an attack on it, even though I'm invisible. I will become visible, but I get to do the assassinate.
This is the boss.
ability.
This is the boss harpal, right? So in theory, if you could kill it, you could still hide in that.
Yeah, Cuthbert doesn't know any of this. I mean, I don't mind a bit of metagaming, but Cuthbert doesn't know anything about harpies.
No, but what's the situation with all the lizard folk? They were arming themselves, and were they emerging from the place?
Well, from
Where are they
your
stationed?
perspective outside, Burple,
Yes.
you know that this harpy has flown off to the south and clearly raised the alarm. You can hear the sound of the alarm being raised,
Yeah.
and some shouts are inside the lair, but you've not seen anything emerge yet.
Yeah.
That's all you know. And you don't know what's happened with Cuthbert. Cuthbert has got this horn of Cuthbert's got an enormous horn stuffed down his pants. And it's not sounded. So
My horn of silence.
My choices are fairly kind of clear, that I either stay trying to hide, hoping that it gets bored, or I can blow the horn, or I can spring to attack. I think if I blow the horn, I then lose the ability to use my assassinate advantage,
Why?
because it will then have a round.
Yeah.
will it?
And
The
Yeah.
risk, though, is if you attack it,
hmm
you end up in a combat with it, with all the lizard folk converging on you,
Yeah.
and no way out.
If I blow the horn, they don't hear it, do they?
No, I'm the only one that hears it.
Ah.
It's a
In which
wall of
case-
silent alarm.
In which case, I'm going to blow the horn.
Okay, so you are...
I'm hunkered down.
I'm kind of
crouching
thinking
What's
that
that noise? What's that noise?
I'm kind.
I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I got my ears
Yeah.
blocked. Sorry.
You blow.
I knew this.
Massive wind up from Bugraft. You blow into it, and it's just.
It's a horn of amplification.
I'm here.
Foghorn.
The
I am.
horn. I'm assuming that you've been gripping your horn ever since you entered.
Yes, I've been holding my horn tightly.
Yeah. So I don't think you need to withdraw your horn. I think your horn is ready for action, and I think that you
Stop
can.
it.
I'm just trying to think about whether or not you would give yourself away through the motion of putting your lips around the end of your horn.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
I think it's unlikely.
The whole purpose of this horn is that
No, the horn is silent. It's the movement and so forth. I think if you're not taking it out of a backpack or anything, I think you
Yeah.
can do it without. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
spirit-
Well, I'm gonna
spirit of the horn.
let's hand wave that. Yeah. I mean, this thing clearly has already decided that there's something in the alcove that it wants to investigate. I don't think you're going to make
Yes.
things any worse. So, okay, that's
Yeah.
what you do. You sound the
That's
horn.
what I
So,
do.
out in the swamp, out in the marsh, the rest of Bugraft, the horn has been sounded.
This way, guys.
The voice of Bugraft changes.
minute by minute.
Yeah. Okay, so that's you, Cuthbert. That's it for you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Next, therefore, it is.
Well, hold on a minute. No, sorry, it's not me. I can do as a bonus action. I've got
Yeah.
my cunning action, which as a bonus action enables me to hide. So
You want to make a stealth check to make yourself less findable. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I'm trying to kind of.
Well, roll the
Even though
dice.
I'm
Let's see what, let's roll.
I'll roll
Let's see
the-
what you
let's
get.
see what
Roll the dice. See what
happens.
you get. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Can I?
I got a 17.
Is that a stealth check?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's it then. So what it does is it takes like a gentle step into the alcove. You're pressed up against the kind of back wall of this alcove. I'm underplaying its size, calling it an alcove. It's more like it's a sort of 5-10 foot space. It takes a sort of tentative step in towards you, Cuthbert. Again, you don't get the sense that it can see you, and it starts to sing.
Oh, you bugger.
Now, can you make a will save? You're making this will save at disadvantage, Cuthbert. Something about the power of this particular creature's song is making it more difficult to resist. Yeah.
This is a wisdom
The
save.
boss
isn't it?
one.
It's a wisdom save. Yes, this is. Let's just see how you do. You don't. I mean, this. It's not. Let's just see how you do. So I've got the DC. I know the DC. So off you go.
All right. So my first roll, I roll an enormous 17.
Good start.
17. Okay, it's a good start. And then the other roll.
And then the real roll
Do you add anything
I would
to that?
normally make will be a 4.
It rolled off the
Because
18.
It rolled off the 18. I don't add anything to that.
Cuthbert,
Yes.
you are
Dead.
no.
Befuddled.
You're paralysed, Cuthbert.
Paralysed and invisible.
Well, at least he's going to be silent.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You're completely silent. You are frozen in place and ensorcelled by this harpy's song.
Yep.
You don't have any reason to think that the harpy knows whether or not it's been successful. In the meantime, let's pick up some other bits and bobs. So what you can hear, Cuthbert, elsewhere is that there is the sound of more movement within the lair all around you. This whole structure kind of constantly creaks. It's damp. There's water dripping from the ceilings. There's a buzz of mosquitoes. And the whole thing is sort of semi-suspended in swamp material, so it sort of creaks and flexes. So there's all of that, and you can hear the sound of lizardfolk in some state of high kind of alarm running around. No more lizardfolk past the entrance to the alcove heading towards the exits, though.
Yeah.
Quite what's going on there, you're not sure. They don't seem to be prioritizing running out to deal with whatever external threat clearly has been warned about. Yep.
Okay.
They seem to be more preoccupied perhaps with something else. And we move on back out into the swamp to Parker.
Well, I'm going to cast Longstrider and then move. Are we still? Is it still difficult ground where we are?
All of this area is difficult ground for you. I don't know whether or not I'm assuming Bugraft, you've taken a free action to tell Parker that
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell everybody that the horn's being blown.
keeping your voice down. Yeah, okay. Looking at your map, you're about 3 turns worth of movement, you think, from...
Well, I will move 25 foot.
Yeah, so you're taking... Are you going to move and then take the dash action? Is that what you're going to do?
Well, I guess I can, yes, I can move, so I can move 50 feet.
Well, you're going to make it to... You're heading to your southwest,
Yeah.
heading towards where Cuthbert padded off into the darkness.
Have we given up on being stealthy and all that?
The horn's been blown now, so we've got to move.
Yeah.
At 50 feet around, you're going to be there in a couple of turns worth of movement, you think,
Right.
because you're so speedy.
It's a good job you blew the horn, actually, Paul.
Off we go.
I thought so.
Well, I wondered about that, yeah, because if without any new information, you guys might just
I've just stayed out there.
Hunker
yeah,
down.
just hidden,
Yeah.
hunkered down,
Had a
hidden,
cup
see
of
what
tea.
happened, waiting for the danger signal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Parker. Let's move on to
Highway to the danger signal.
Bugraft. Do you reckon you're about 3 turns of movement if you take the dash action from
All right, well I'll start running then.
the area of the entrance? Okay, so you start running.
That's what we're doing, mate. We're
Yeah, and Burple as well,
Yep.
Sessions as well. As fast as your little feet can carry you, you're heading south. Okay, well, we'll pick you up in a round or two as we catch up with things, and let's pop back and see what is happening.
Parker's seriously fast.
Parker is seriously fast. It's a bit of a game changer in this circumstance. Let's pop back to back in the lair and back to Cuthbert. Now, Cuthbert, what do you want to do? You have a turn, Cuthbert. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm paralysed. Can I?
I'm so sorry, Gordon. You can't do anything. No, you can do fuck all, Cuthbert, but you can make another saving throw at disadvantage at the end of your turn.
All right. Well, I'll do fuck all, and then I'll have the end of my turn because I can't do anything.
Okay, so off you go. I know the number you need.
I first roll a
Uh-huh.
13.
What does that turn into?
A 13.
Your will save is just +0, is it?
My wisdom is +0 on a will save.
Okay. Sorry, your wisdom save. And your next roll?
Is there we go, 7.
It won't astonish you to learn, Cuthbert, that you're still paralysed.
Okay. Well, there we are then.
Yeah, and now this thing is free to act. It takes a step. I'm going to roll randomly as to which space it steps into. It could step to one side of you or other side of you, or try and step into your space.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running clockwise.
It's gonna be a 3 or 4. It's gonna get there. Oh no!
It takes a ginger step to its right. Perhaps it's thinking that it wants to make sure that nothing, is in the entrance with it. And then it sniffs around a bit and rolls a number, a decent number, and now it's going to decide which way to go with its next move. It is either going to step next to you or on you. So 1 to 3, it steps into your space. 4 to 6, it does not. And I roll a 4 to 6, it does not. It steps into the other side of the alcove. It's padding its way round this alcove. It doesn't know whether or not its song has had a target or has had any effect. So it's just making its way bit by bit.
It's just gonna give up. It's had a couple of rounds.
Had a look
nothing
around.
here.
There's nothing here. It must be mistaken. It's going to go.
Yeah.
During the meanwhile, you lot outside, a couple of torches flare into life down to your southeast. You're 100 feet away, something like that, maybe a bit more. And you can see 2 lizardfolk have lit firebrands and are standing on either side of what looks like a kind of dark entrance into this structure that that Cuthbert went heading off to. They're holding the firebrands above their heads, and they're kind of peering out into the darkness. The light from the firebrands is getting nowhere near you. They don't seem to be heading off any further. It looks like they're intent upon guarding the entrance and looking out for intruders. Cuthbert, you hear more movement inside the lair behind you.
Yeah.
And can you give me an insight check?
Insight check.
Insight, yeah. It's going to be 0 because your wisdom is 0.
No, my insight is +3.
Oh, okay. You must be trained in it.
I rolled a 22.
Okay, 22. You detect in the sound of kind of hullabaloo and alarm that there is some conflict as well. It's not just Lizardfolk sounding the alarm and kind of the sound of action and whatever. It's also there's something going on. It's maybe it's a bit of a distance, but some of the raised voices are not raised in alarm, they're raised in anger.
Okay.
What, outside or inside?
Inside.
Okay.
And we move on to Parker. Now, Parker, if you move as speedily as you can, you have an opportunity to make it to the entrance, but you suspect that may not be the wisest of ideas. Let's put you on the new map. Let me just get the new map organised. You are about 70 or 80 feet from the entrance to the lair.
So the lizard men and the harpies enemies. Maybe they're trying to root out the harpy.
Difficult. I mean, it's very difficult to speculate as to what their kind of relationships are.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting idea.
I've put you in the last square, Parker, where I feel you can move with some freedom before having to worry about being detected. You can see about 70 feet, 80 feet off to your east, there is a gap in this structure, and a couple of Lizardfolk are standing on either side of that gap, holding firebrands into the air. Yeah, they're shedding bright light 20 feet around them and dim light 40 feet around them. So you've got about 30 or 40 feet where you could move without going into the torchlight. But of course, life is not so simple. It is not so binary as that. And if you were to make a noise and so forth. So, have any of you people got light spells running?
I think I might have.
Well, I mean, it's you're
around my neck.
Okay, I mean, you're
Probably. It's an hour, isn't it? It's a cantrip that lasts an hour.
so you're a bit concerned perhaps as you get. I mean, you're still off at some distance and you're slulching your way through. I don't think you've given yourselves away, but you perhaps might think about dousing those lights if you were to get much closer. Anyway, Parker, what do you want to do?
Can you describe to me what these two lizard men are doing? Have they just sort of come out and they're now standing there, with the guardsmen sort of?
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
Or are they scouting? Are they looking around? Are they
Yes, but those two things are not mutually
Are they looking
incompatible.
up? Up
No,
in
they
the
don't
sky?
seem to. No, they don't seem to be paying attention into the sky. It looks like they're looking out into the marsh and looking around them.
Right. So they're basically looking to see if somebody, i.e. us, will come into field of view.
That looks like what they're up to. Yeah.
What do you reckon, guys? We could bait them out. I mean, we could, I could move up and go, yoo-hoo, and then run away again and see if they come out to us.
Do we think they move fast?
Well, the point is that
Probably quicker than us in this train.
Yeah, but then there's only two of them at where we are, rather than us suddenly getting stuck in the corridor with 10 of them.
Okay, my interpretation is that basically they're going to stay and sound the alarm if anybody gets close. Meanwhile, I think inside you've got factions. You've got two factions which kind of don't agree with each other, or it could be the prisoners, I don't know. But I think they're distracted internally, which means that they don't have their full strength. If we get into trouble, I'll keep a Lemon's tiny hut in reserve.
The thing I'm thinking of doing
buys us a long
is
rest.
because I've got
Yeah.
an extra round.
Good.
The thing I'm thinking of doing is actually at this point is going due south, so skirting around their range of view to the edge of this structure, and then I'll basically come at them from the southeast while you.
Well, you can
carry
afford
on.
to be stealthy. I think we should go full pelt. But your single move is equivalent to our move, our dash action.
Yes, but that's why I'm thinking. See, what then I can do is I can go to the south and then basically to the northwest
It's not going to make any
in the
difference.
same
though,
time
is
as it takes you to just basically go. It's three sides of a triangle, right?
I think you want to try and get to within 50 feet of them without being seen. If their light goes out 40 feet, I think
All
you
right.
basically
Well, I'll do
want to
it.
get
So I
within
can
50
make. Can
feet
I
so
make
you
a
can
stealth
move.
check?
Oh, it's difficult terrain though, isn't it?
It is difficult terrain. Yeah.
So 50. So
So-
actually, you'd need to be within 25 feet. So that's not going to work.
Yes. So I'm 75 feet away now, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
So if I'm moving stealthily, then I'm moving at half again, right? So that would basically be able to move, instead of the 50 feet on difficult ground, 25 feet.
Yeah. You think? Give me a perception check.
No, perception check.
A check of perception.
Check perceptions is a 12 plus the 2 is a 14.
Looking at the ground around the two lizard folk who are standing there with the torches,
Yeah.
it sort of rises and solidifies near the entrance. You suspect that as soon as you got within 20, 30 feet of the entrance, you may not be on difficult ground anymore.
Right.
Not sure that helps.
Particularly helpful, but
Not sure that helps. I mean, I think we want to go hard and fast, really. I don't see any other reason to do anything else.
You've got the horn, and now you want to go hard and fast.
Yeah.
I think we go straight at them.
Never mind manoeuvres.
If that's the case and we're going to all try and get to them at the same time, then what I am actually going to do is I'm going to...
You can stealth,
move.
obviously.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to move straight at them. Right, so I will move to the southeast of the lizard men to the wall of the lair.
Okay.
With my intention to then skirt round the next move, I can skirt round the wall of the lair while the other guys come straight in.
There are little alcoves and little protuberances that you can hide behind. But when you specifically approach that area, Parker, could you give me another perception? When you're having a long round, another perception check.
18.
Okay, 18 is a great roll. You notice something, Parker. It just catches your eye. This structure is like a dome, and you're looking up the side of a dome.
Yeah.
Because the lizard folk are holding their torches above their heads, you're getting a little bit of light that's being cast across the limb of this dome as you look at it. You notice what you think must be a little dark opening. It's not on the roof of this thing. It's at least 20 feet of a sort of clamber up the side of the dome of this thing. You can distinctly make out a pretty significant opening. I mean, it must be at least 5 foot wide.
A window or a sort of chimney?
Like a chimney without a chimney stack.
When you have a
fire beneath.
Yeah, when you have a fire.
Well, very possibly, yes.
Yeah. So that's my next round. I can decide what to do with that.
Yeah, burply herply.
I'm going to move up.
Okay, so you can
it's
get
me
to
next.
Oh, yeah, it is Bugraft.
I'm so sorry. Bugraft, what do you want to do?
Well, I'm pelting it straight at the thing.
Okay, so you're heading in the direction that Parker headed, and you can get into the environs of the lair, but you're a lot slower.
Yeah, and I'm sort of covering up my light
You're
source.
covering up
Is
your
there
light
any
stuff.
light source coming from the dome so I can head in the right direction?
Well, you can see the torches held by the lizard folk at the entrance to the dome.
Can I see the glowing green Parker's head?
Only my eyes that glow, not my head.
Although it may be spreading.
You know where Parker was going, and I suspect that you can track him, especially silhouetted against the light from the lizard folk
Yeah,
torches.
I'll follow him. Yeah.
Okay, you follow Parker, and then we go on to Burple.
I'm just going to take the dash action towards the lights.
Yeah, so you're heading towards the lizard folk, or are you kind of tracking towards where Bugraft and Parker are going?
No, I'm going straight forwards.
Straight on. And Sessions,
I'm following Bugraft.
How far away am I from them now?
at the end of the second turn of movement, you're approaching the environs of the entrance. You're within 70, 80, 90 feet of the entrance at the end of your second turn of movement. If you move flat out next turn, you're going to be getting quite close to the edge of their torchlight. Cuthbert, what do you want to do? You can do... I mean, there's nothing you can do.
I'm just going to make those rolls again.
Okay, give it a shot.
First roll.
Oh, it's a good one.
Roll an 18.
Oh, it's a good roll.
Come on,
Roll
Paul.
an 18.
Come on,
Can
Paul.
he do it? Can he do it?
Can he do it? Here we go.
Oh, he gets a 19!
He can! Okay, you are no longer charmed, paralyzed, ensorcelled, whatever it is. This thing... this is so close. This thing has run out of places to look at in this alcove. I don't need to roll anymore. It steps into your square, Cuthbert. And I'm not quite sure how to adjudicate this. I don't know that there's a kind of set rules support for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make an opposed check.
Okay.
You're invisible,
Yes.
so you are at advantage.
Okay.
But this thing is going to be standing in your space, which negates all of the disadvantage and advantage, and I think it's just a straight roll-off.
Okay. And what are we rolling?
Well, you're rolling a stealth check, and I'm rolling a perception check.
Okay. Yeah.
And I roll... Well, I mean, you don't need to roll, really. I mean...
Well, I should roll.
Yeah.
I roll a 16.
This thing steps into your square and somehow finds nothing.
It thinks it's just
Yeah.
stumbled into a bit of crate or something like that.
It, therefore, mistakenly believes that the alcove is empty, and it heads off. I think it's just going to leave. Cuthbert, you think it's heading back the way that it came.
Okay.
You see it dart out of sight to your right, and we will pick things up with
It might be able to smell that just a little bit of wee.
Well, yeah. When's the last time you had a bath?
Just that little
Been
bit
on the
of wee
road
that's
for a
trickled down
couple
my
of
leg.
weeks.
Yeah, that's true. It's Parker again. We're back to Parker.
How many rounds do I need to climb up to this opening? Can I get there in one round?
No, you think it's a good couple of rounds. Good couple of rounds of climbing. A round to climb the first 10 feet and a round to climb the second 10 feet.
All right, I'll do that then. Do you need a climb check?
You give me an athletics check. Yeah.
An athletics check.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a particularly challenging climb. And also give me a
There
stealth.
we go.
And give me a stealth check if you want to try and. I presume that you're clambering up an area. Oh, wow. Okay.
Right, well, the athletics check is a natural 20.
Yep. So you.
And then you want the stealth check.
Yep.
Is an 18 for a 20.
Okay, so ninja your way up the wall of the structure.
So
heading towards this sort of chimney. Bugraft, you, in your turn, you will puff your way sludgily into the environs of the entrance. Not close enough to be seen by the Lizardfolk, but, I'm putting you on the new map, Bugraft.
Yep.
What do you want to do? I mean, you're still heading in the direction that you think Parker was heading in?
I've just got my eye on that glowing green head, and I'm heading towards it.
Okay. Burple, you are going to be... You're moving a little bit quicker, but in this turn, you move on to this new map.
Yep.
And you can decide which direction you want to go into.
Why is he moving quicker?
My speed is
I'm
30.
a
moves
light
30
foot halfling, so I moved 30 foot.
Oh, sorry.
We're the
Okay.
same.
Okay, and then Sessions, you also appear on the new map. What do you want to do? You're Bugraft and Burple just ahead of you. You could head in the direction. Bugraft seems to be heading after Parker, who you think that with the light of the torches, even though these Lizardfolk can't see him because he's obscured, you can see that Parker is clambering up the side of the structure, all of you. You could head towards Parker or you could head towards the entrance. Burple seems to be heading towards the entrance.
I'm following Bugraft.
And we move things round to Cuthbert. What do you want to do? We're back in the lair with Cuthbert. You could move. You're invisible.
Yes, decisions. See, I've survived the Velociraptor in the kitchen Jurassic Park moment.
Only to be got by it's in the corridor.
And, I mean,
Who's the source of the invisibility, by the way?
Me, Purple. No, I'm aware. I'm going to be careful not to get hit.
I could go after the Harper. I could go back out towards the entrance and hang out there and try and... Well, I'm assuming... I don't know. Actually, metagaming, I have no idea what my fellow band of people are doing.
No, you've got no sense about what the others are up to. But I mean, you have to hope they're having blown your horn.
Having successfully blown my horn.
Yeah.
We're trying to find the people from the keep.
You've got no way of knowing, Cuthbert, that they aren't still waiting where they said they would be waiting, which would be a considerably longer wait.
I think I'm going to head out back towards the entrance.
Okay.
Did you manage to find the people we're after?
No. I suppose I could keep sneaking. Yeah, I might. Yeah, no, you're absolutely
try
right,
and find
John.
them.
I'm going to keep sneaking.
Okay.
So I'm going to sneak around as I'm facing it, around to my east, or staying on the same level.
Yeah.
So not the opposite direction to where the bedrooms were. So I can move to the entrance.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. So
Exactly.
the moment that you turn the corner of the alcove,
Yeah.
this thing that couldn't find you you're padding along behind it.
Okay.
It's clearly headed back to where it originally came from. So as you dart round the corner, you're in danger of catching up with it. It can't see you.
No.
It's clearly not very good at finding you, but it's probably best if you make a stealth check to make sure you don't make a loud noise.
Getting a 23.
Okay, so you're padding up behind it. It doesn't know you're there.
I'm going to keep...
It's heading off into some sort of chamber. It looks like there's lots of bird droppings on the floor as this passage opens out into a chamber. There are thick branches or roots that seem to have been left to grow horizontally in this chamber.
Okay.
Give me a perception check.
A 17.
These transverse perches, if that's what they are, you can see scratch marks, claw marks on them.
Mm-hmm.
This must be a kind of harpy lair or something.
Yep.
I think that's good for you, isn't it? Unless you want to do something. I mean, you've only taken a move action.
No, my intent is to go in there. I'm going to move at... I'll probably move at quarter speed. And
So you're
stay-
hanging back. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's join Parker, who's clambering up the outside of this structure. Parker, do you want to give me another climb check and another stealth check?
I certainly would love to do that.
What's the total?
5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't make any progress. You sort of snag yourself on a branch or whatever, and you get yourself in a bit of a... You don't fall, but you don't get anywhere. You're a bit stuck. Give me a stealth check, though, while you're doing
The
that.
stealth check is then a 9 plus 3, 12.
A 12. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to make a quick dice roll. Okay. And then we move on to Bugraft. You're puffing up to catch up with Parker?
Actually, I might start heading west now towards the lizard men and the entrance, because I think that hole that Parker's going down is just into the Harpy lair, which I don't really fancy.
Do you want to give me a stealth check? You're not quite in the torchlight from these lizard folk, but just in case you make a noise, just give me a stealth check.
4.
Okay, that's not great. Let me just make a couple of...
Hang on a minute.
Right.
I've got halfling nimbleness. What does that mean?
It's going to have to be quite a lot.
Danger sense.
No, your danger sense is definitely working.
Naturally stealthy. Naturally stealthy.
Except when you're not.
You can hide even when you're obscured by a creature one size like that.
Yeah.
And Mike's rolled a natural 20 and a natural 18.
Yeah, these lizard folk, as you're sloshing towards them trying to be quiet, Bugraft, you break a branch, it seems unlikely, you squish your foot into a particularly loud, sucking piece of mud. Whatever it is, these two lizard folk, their heads whip round and they hold the torches up. They look up and one of them says, "Hello? Who's there?"
It was Bugraft farting, and there was this like blub, 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 in the swamp.
Can I dive into the water?
Well, and immerse yourself.
Yeah, and pretend I'm some sort of large swamp creature, like
You want to try and appear to be an animal.
Yes.
You could. Well, not large.
Can I make a sort of animal type noise?
Ribbit.
You're going to make an...
or something.
That's the noise.
And then jump into the water.
Lots of...
Yes. How to you thought adjudicating the bit with Cuthbert back then was difficult.
Well, I'm a
now I'm having to think about what. I encourage this kind of. I think this is marvelous.
Animals.
Performance check.
I'm just wondering what we test here. That's the only thing I'm not sure.
I have got
about.
to speak with animals, so I can speak some sort of weird language.
I'm just thinking more about skills. Which one is the most appropriate skill check?
What animal language do you speak, Johnny?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I've got bear. Bear is my barbarian totem spirit.
Oh, so you speak
Right,
bear.
in the middle of a swamp.
I think what we're going to do is you're going to make a deception check, Johnny.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, and let's just see whether or not you're a convincing. No.
Okay.
You sound like Sooty.
Quite sound.
What's that, Sooty?
Sooty, how do you Sooty used to speak?
Which direction?
No, what's that?
You
What's it
squeak or
called?
something.
No, he didn't at all.
This is not absolutely relevant. Anyway, so Bugraft, you make a noise, you're heard, you're challenged by one of these sentries. You make a noise trying to sound like a swamp creature and immerse yourself in the water, and you get it completely. You're not convincing.
Just to check, they're looking in Bugraft's direction. That doesn't mean they've started looking over in my direction, right?
No.
I'm far enough away.
They can't tear their eyes away from Bugraft.
You don't seem to be in any immediate danger of being detected, Parker.
I get a
We move on to
distraction bonus. on my next-
Burple, you've seen Bugraft pad his way off towards the entrance. And then he clearly made a noise, and then something very odd happened to him. You're not quite sure what. But whatever it was, these lizard folk look like they're alerted.
So I'm going to move. It's difficult ground still, yeah. So I'm going to move 30 foot due west, basically. So that takes me 30, probably about 90 feet away.
Yeah.
So I make a.
Do you want to try and remain hidden?
I'm tempted to say no, but maybe next round. So yes, I will. I will make a
Give me
stealth check. Getting a 16.
16 is fine. You don't think that you've done anything to reveal your location, although, of course, you've got Grizzly Adams to your south, pretending to be whatever it is.
Well, I've got clanky armor as well.
Oh, God, you're disadvantaged. So you've got a 16.
So that's well, I got a 13 if it's a disadvantage.
All your stealth checks are at disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay, so 30. Well, okay. Well, let me make a roll.
Well, that's a 14. So
Yeah. Okay, so one of these lizard folk, you think
I say
has-
yes. Hello.
in common. Yeah.
Hello? Who is that?
What language? Well, they're very posh, so it's kind of throwing me a little bit. Where does it have my languages? Over here. I'm going to say it in Celestial. Oh, common. I'll say it in common. Yeah. I'll say hello.
Oh, hello? Who is that?
Terribly sorry, old chap. Seem to have got a bit lost.
Oh, step out towards... be careful now. We just step towards me very closely.
He's holding a spear out in front of him. That's
Okay.
probably
Yep.
where we'll pick things up with Sessions, who's squidging along behind. Sessions, well, you've seen all of this interchange.
I think I will move in the same general direction that Burple and Bugraft are moving, but cautiously.
Okay. Do you want to try and stay hidden behind
Yes,
them?
yes.
Okay, well, give me a stealth check. Maybe somebody can make a stealth check. Somebody must be able to make a stealth check.
Stealthy check.
You're hanging back, so you're not,
Yeah, I'm going to be stealthy.
see what happens.
I roll a 13.
Okay. I mean, that's not so easy for them. I'm going to make a roll for the one at the front, and he's going to... yeah. Okay, so you don't get the sense that you've been detected.
No, the guys in front of me are making splashing sounds of being
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Cuthbert, what do you want to do? Back in the lair.
So basically, out front, we've got the Crankies at the Royal Variety performance. Parker's got himself stuck halfway up a tree. I'm going to keep moving a quarter stealthy.
Well, but you've only got a square between you and this thing.
I don't know, can I wait till after it's round and move?
You can ready an action to move after it moves.
I'll ready an action to move after it moves stealthily.
Well, in that case, we move on to it. So this creature, it hops away from you and it jumps up onto one of these perch branches in the lair and just sort of sits there, starts preening itself. Now, do you want to take your ready move action?
I'm just going to move up to the entrance. I'm 10 foot away from it, up to the entrance of this room, see if I can see any more about what's going on in this room.
Okay, give me a stealth check. At advantage, obviously.
That's a 16, and the next one is at a 21.
Fine. You can't see any more. You can see... Give me another perception check.
Oh dear, not that so good. 7.
On the face of things, you can't see any other creatures in there, and you sort of scrutinise, but you don't pick up anything else.
Okay.
Parker, it's you.
So I can continue to go up.
Yeah, you can try another. You can have another. Can you give me a perception check before you do so?
A 6 plus 2 is an 8.
Okay. And yeah, you want to make a climb check to keep going? Fine.
13.
Okay, and then do you want to try and be quiet? Yes.
Yes. Natural 20.
Okay, so you
It's gonna
are
work.
undetectable as you clamber up the remainder of the distance across the side of this structure, and you are at the edge of this hole on the slope of the structure as it reaches its kind of apex. It's like an upturned bowl.
Yeah, so I can look through.
Yeah, you
this
could look
hole.
through. Have you got dark vision?
I do.
So you can see a harpy. You're looking down into some sort of chamber that seems to be constructed or hollowed out or whatever from this very material that this whole thing seems to be made out of, branches and roots and so forth, with a damp earthen floor absolutely covered in bird droppings. There are branches and limbs, tree limbs, crisscrossing this chamber, kind of transversely, that look like some kind of perches, and on one of these perches there's a harpy. It looks like the lead harpy that you saw fly this way earlier. It's sitting there preening itself.
Right.
Thank you, Parker. And now one of these creatures holds its torch up, starts walking towards you, Burple. It looks deeply suspicious of you when it can make you out. You're an odd-looking creature, right? It's also looking kind of over to its right, where you know that it knows that Bugraft was. It's holding a spear out in front of it. It says,
What are you doing here? You said you were lost.
No. Well, you seem to be the person or one of the people that I'm looking for. I believe you're holding some friends of mine, and I'd like them returned, please.
friends. Are you from the keep, from Blackwall Keep?
Yes.
Well, they're not friends. They're not our guests. They're our prisoners.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, I'm afraid we aren't going to return.
Are you not?
That's absolutely out of the question.
Well, I'm awfully sorry, but I'm then going to have to kill you all.
Well, I think that's rather taking a ride. I don't like your tone.
Dash it all.
Dash it all. If a fellow can't capture a prisoner and then be left undisturbed in his own swampland lair, in this day and age, I don't know what the world is coming to.
Well, I really must insist.
Well, I say fire upon you.
I don't know what to say to that, really.
I think he's going to lob a spear at you. That's his kind of standard modus operandi.
It's not very nice.
Well, I throw my spear at you, sir.
I say, sir.
Hey, you're going to get the pointy end of this little fellow.
He's got an action left, has he?
Well, he's moved, a standard move, and he's had some free actions to chat with you, and that's all he's done. So I kind of think,
Standard move?
Well, he moves 6 squares.
It's not difficult ground.
Not for him, it's not.
Damn it.
I think we'd already established this. It's a javelin, not a spear.
I wouldn't use a spear. It's a crude weapon. It's a javelin. The javelin is the weapon of a gentleman.
The trouble with javelins and spears is once they've thrown them, they end up with they no longer have a weapon.
Are you shouting this from your swamp
No,
hideaway?
it just seems such a stupid weapon to have. It's like having a pistol and then throwing the pistol at someone and then you don't have anything.
Marvellous.
No, it's
Thank
not
you.
like that, Johnny.
It is. What?
No, it's like throwing a bullet at somebody. It's not like throwing anyone.
No, but he has. How many? He's got one javelin, right?
Yes, he's got a heavy
So
club
he throws
as well.
the javelin. Then what?
Well, he's got a heavy club, but we're going to worry about that in a moment. He's got to miss with the javelin first. Here we go.
Have at you.
He rolls a 7, armor class
dear.
11.
Here's a miss.
Bug on food.
Oh, bug on food.
This javelin doesn't even whistle past your ear. It just goes into the mud at your feet.
I will titter, bring out a handkerchief and dab the side of my mouth.
Toby, quickly.
The other one
I say, really, that is most embarrassing.
The other one rushes up towards you. The range of its javelin is 30 feet, so he's at disadvantage. He's lobbing his javelin at you, Burple.
Okay.
And he rolls a 12 for a 16, so that's not going to be enough already, is it? So that's
Hang on. No, it's not.
Oh, blast.
It's a bit closer, that one.
says Toby, and they've both thrown their javelins. Toby's also shouting,
Quickly, there are some sort of ne'er-do-wells outside the lair.
shouts back toward the entrance. And we move on. I'm kind of warming to these guys.
Yeah.
We're on to Bugraft.
Bugraft. Right. So I'm submerged, aren't I?
Yes, Bugraft, you are. You are in the water, in the sludge.
Right. I'm going to do a heal on myself.
Okay, has it got a verbal component?
Cure wounds. Let's have a look.
I suspect that it has.
It does.
Yes.
I think it's probably quite difficult to cast a spell on yourself with a verbal component when you're immersed in mud.
Well, I'll
I mean, you could...
submerge. Sorry, I emerge very briefly to cast a spell and then go back under.
Okay. The two lizard folk are just bemused by you.
But
frankly.
they
Not
can't
quite
see me. Once I'm, it's dark. I'm now below the water. They don't really.
Yeah,
You're below the water.
below the water. Okay.
So
Well,
here is the.
they're not in any position. Yeah, you make your roll anyway.
Oh, 8
Ooh.
plus Constitution. 10 points.
Okay, Burple, it's your round. Your turn.
Burple is going to interact with his sword and draw it and back up 3 squares.
Right.
And then he's going to do some whispering. I think he's going to do some whispering at the guy at the front. Yes, he
Whispering of a
is.
dissonant nature. Okay.
Of a dissonant nature. So we'll do it at second level. So we'll have a wisdom save DC 14, please.
Their wisdom save is okay. He rolls
Fail.
5 and fails.
Fail, so he takes 4d6.
Shitty.
One
hell.
damage. 4d6. He takes. That's shit. Such a shit. 3 1s and a 4.
That's absolutely hopeless.
That's
7 points of
absolutely
damage.
shit. It was all going so well.
Okay. Does he have to run away?
Yes, he has to run away.
He uses his reaction to move directly away from you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does.
Forgot about
He goes, He goes, "Oh my goodness!" Shoots off the other direction. The other one goes, "Alex, what's happened to you?" "It's terrifying, Toby. It's terrifying."
It's like a very perverted Chariots of Fire episode thing, isn't it?
We move on to Sessions EPA. Sessions, you are still, as so far as you know it, undetected.
Class. I think Sessions will.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's going to ready to toll the dead on one of these lizardmen if they get within the range of the spell, which is about 60 feet.
Okay, fine. So
I'm just gonna.
You're ready. You're readying an action. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to hunker down,
Okay.
remaining obscure, and if one of them.
But it's just, this is chaotic.
Yeah.
Back to the top of the round with Cuthbert. What do you want to do? Cuthbert, you're looking at this thing. It's unaware of you. Can you give me another perception check? I think you kind of know what this perception check is for, but...
Perception check. I rolled a perception check of 22.
Okay, so you see Parker.
Yeah.
The unmistakable conical silhouette of Parker's enormous skull is there in that you can make out clearly a kind of an opening in the roof of this chamber, and Parker's little
terrifying.
enormous head.
His eyes like
Pinhead.
Yeah.
Parker's lighting up eyes are for flavour only.
I know, it just sounds quite scary if I was.
It does sound scary, yeah.
Run a mile, I think.
And it's your action, Cuthbert. What do you want to do? Oh, and also, Cuthbert, you can hear the sounds of shouting and struggles from sounds like back out towards the entrance where you came from. Something has clearly kicked off. And there's still the sound of stuff going on. You heard a shout from outside, somebody raising an alarm, and you think that you could hear it, and you think others would be able to hear it too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to still explore. I think I don't really want to kick things off. So I'm going to head back the way I came, except I'm going to fairly quickly head south down the stairs I can see, which are about 25 foot away from me. So stealthily, I'm going to head west, then cut down to see what's down the stairs.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll a stealth check.
Yep.
Rolling a stealth check, getting a 26 on the stealth.
Okay. And you start round the corner into this little set of rather rough steps heading down.
Yeah, I think because I'm moving at half speed, that's the full extent of my move.
Yeah, that's fine. I just check something. Okay, Cuthbert.
Yes.
As you step into this staircase, Cuthbert, first of all, I should tell you about what you can see.
That'd be good.
The stairway, as it were, goes down and then flattens out into a little passageway that seems to continue south.
Right.
At the foot of the stairs, there is
looks like either skulls or rubble.
There's a kind of semi-solid pile of rotting, I don't know, food, vegetation. Looks like you can see animal bones in it. It looks like some sort of garbage pile.
Garbage compactor.
Yeah.
It looks like a compost pile.
Yeah.
And there are mushrooms and moss growing on it. Stuff.
Oh.
There's vegetation everywhere. The stairwell, obviously what you're in is a structure made out of twisted mangaroo limbs and branches, but it seems to be more dense around you. The smell is not nice. There are mosquitoes buzzing around you everywhere you go here, but the buzz of flies and the concentration of insects down at the foot of this stairway is pretty intense.
Can I make a perception check to see if any kind of footprints up or down the stairs or at the bottom? Just to
Please do.
Right, I'll roll a perception check. Not brilliant. Getting an 11.
No, you can see there's clearly the sign of movement, but nothing that looks recent necessarily, or...
Okay.
You see tracks going in all directions.
Okay,
but,
I think...
Cuthbert, as you step onto the stairwell, something reacts to your presence. And the vegetation, the foliage around you snickers into life, and a sort of like a creeper or a vine strikes out at you.
Oh, even though I'm invisible.
Even though you're invisible, yes.
Even though I rolled a massive stealth check.
Even though you rolled a massive stealth check, yes. Something that doesn't seem to see, something that seems to sense through in a different way, perhaps.
Okay.
So the passageway is alive,
Ugh.
and this vine lashes out at you from the wall.
Right.
And it needs to hit you, actually. So I need your armor. I know what your armor class is. It rolls a 3, which is not going to be good. Armor class 10. You're missed by this thing.
Well, that's fabulous. I'm very pleased about that.
And we move on to the Harpy.
Yes.
The Harpy's got no idea you're there, Parker. She is going to continue to preen. I think you get the sense that she's biding her time. She's not relaxed, that she's just waiting for the moment to do something else. But that's it for them. And then we move on to you, Parker. What do you want to do?
I don't think it's a good idea to engage this harpy at this moment. What do you think?
I think she's waiting to fly with a message somewhere, and you're currently in the where she's going to fly from. You're on a launch pad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking we've established we can climb back up here quite nicely.
You think dropping down from this hole onto the floor would be an athletics check?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to take on this harpy on my own because I don't know where Cuthbert is, so I can't assume that it would be 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a slightly odd situation, this. We're all frantically not metagaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have no reason to know that Cuthbert is just around the corner, so you're just looking down at this thing.
Can I continue to climb
Yes.
to the northwest on the top of this structure
Yeah.
to the entrance, or do I have to climb back down again and go around the edge?
No, you could clamber round the side of this, the limb, as it were, the slope of this structure. You could head round towards the entrance, but the entrance isn't an open defile. It's a discrete thing. You'd have to clamber down to go inside. Yes.
Yeah. So
Can't-
now, but is that so? Is it like everywhere? It's an easy climb.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
does
yeah.
it
But
get
this is dead
steeper?
easy. You're now almost on the horizontal now. So
Right.
you're really,
So-
it's not really so much of a climb as a clamber.
Can I see any other openings
No,
from where I am now?
nothing from where you are. No.
So, sorry, just to be sure, the three of the rest of you, you're actually starting to fight these lizards.
I mean, Parker, you can see from your vantage point, you can see 2 lizard folk. One of them is running away from, you think, the others. One of them is sort of facing off against the others. You can't see Bugraft, but you could have heard these really strange noises from the swamp.
Yeah.
You think he might have been swallowed by some strange creature. You can't see Sessions, but you have heard Burple and these 2 lizard folk having some sort of exchange, which seems to have resulted in conflict.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what I will do is I will stealthily shimmy round the
Yep.
on the roof of this thing.
Yeah.
So until
Give me a
I'm-
climb check, and you can move half speed. Just give me a climb check. It's not really about falling; it's about
Climb
progress.
check.
Okay, so
so 5.
I think and I mean 5 is enough. It's a dead easy challenge. So you can move yourself at half speed around towards the entrance, but you might want to make a stealth check if you want to be certain of being undetected.
Yes, I will also make a stealth check. And the stealth check is a 12.
Okay, and we move on to the lizard folk. Alex, he doesn't have to keep running away anymore, does he, Dan?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so he stops. He says,
I just don't know what came over me.
turns, and heads back towards you, Burple, but he can't make it to you. He shouts,
Toby, go inside. Get help. Tell the king.
Mike, can I
yeah,
have my readied action? Because he
Sure you
moves
can,
within
yeah.
the range of my.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he needs to make a Wisdom DC 13 save against the Toll the
Yeah,
Dead,
rolling a
also known as tumbling dice.
Rolling a 9. No, that's not going to be enough.
Was he wounded?
Yes, he's wounded.
Okay. So
He's the one that Burple wounded with his dissonant whisper.
Good. 12 and 4. 16 points of damage.
Okay, so Alex is no more. I'm sorry. Please, no flowers, just donations to the Lizardfolk Fund for Musical Therapy, which Alex was a huge supporter of. And we can leave things with Toby, and Toby is dashing back into the lair, shouting Blue Murder.
Humans! I say, humans! They've come for the prisoners.
And we pick things up in the swamp with Bugraft.
Right. Don't really fancy fighting a whole horde of them coming out.
Why don't you just continue to hide in the water?
Yeah, I might Well, nobody's watching me. I might just move a little bit further forward.
Okay, so you're creeping towards the entrance.
No, I think that's far more than you can actually move.
Move.
Yeah, but it's half your movement. One of your moves just to stand up.
Yeah. Can I
A
swim?
whole move in the bog. So
Could I swim?
Just put yourself somewhere reasonable. In terms of the house rules, by the way, which we haven't hit any incidents yet where we should use them. One of the things that I would like to apply is about the standing up rule. This has come up recently in our other game. I don't think it should be half your movement to stand up. It seems to be an illogical rule.
Yeah.
Are we saying that if Parker is moving 50 because he's got long strider, that it costs him 25 feet of movement to stand up? Whereas if Sessions, who's got 25 feet of movement, has to stand up, it costs him 12.5 feet. It makes no sense. Surely it should be a fixed
movement.
It should be a fixed tariff to stand up. And I'm saying it's 15 feet of movement to stand up. Half the standard movement speed. There you go.
Sounds fair.
It's not my idea. It was something I saw on YouTube the other day when I was
Okay,
looking
so
at house
I'll move
rules.
a couple of squares back.
Fine, that's Bugraft, now Burple.
So Burple's just going to move, I guess.
Yeah, you can see Toby, he's made it to the entrance. He's still got his torch in his hand, so you can make him out perfectly.
I'll move.
Okay, so you're just piling up towards the entrance, piling after him.
When you say pile up, it's
Yeah, I know what you mean.
agonisingly slow.
Moving as fast as you can. You think, again, Burple, give me a perception check. Bugraft as well, you can give me perception checks.
Perception check. This one getting 22.
22, you're pretty sure, looking ahead of you as you're moving, even in the dark, the ground around the entrance looks a lot more solid.
When you say around the entrance, I mean, we're talking a line across the entrance, or?
Within about 30 feet of the entrance or so, 5 or 6 squares of the entrance, you think that the ground is probably not going to be difficult to move across.
Okay.
Sessions on 6.
Oh, well, I'll follow Burple now.
Okay, you're puffing
Away, yeah.
puffing west after Burple, and we're back inside the lair. Cuthbert, this thing, give me a perception check.
Another perception check. Rolling a 15.
At the foot of this stairway, on the left, so on the eastern side of the stairway, next to the compost pile, you think you can see something that looks like it's the source of this vine that struck at you. It looks like it's got a sort of core.
Okay. I'm not going to hang around to be grappled by this thing, I don't think.
Okay, you think there might be an attack of opportunity where you should leave unless you take the disengage action, which of course you can. Of course you can, Malcolm.
I will take the disengage action, and I will move back I'll move back to the junction into the entranceway corridor.
Okay, you can hear the sound of something running towards you
Okay.
from outside.
That's all I can think I can do. Well, actually, I can use that as the cunning action. That's my cunning action, is the disengage.
Yes, and then
I've
you're
then
moving.
got a full round I can do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ready an action to attack a monster should it come within a foe should it come within striking distance of me using a melee weapon.
Gotcha. Parker.
So my question is, this lizard guy,
Lizardfolk.
can I actually see him where he is, or is that
No,
the
you're
schematic? He's moved into the cover of the
yes,
entrance.
precisely, and also the angle. You're almost on the horizontal. Yeah, so you'd have to lean over to be able to see down there. Anyway.
Or climb down. Can I climb down?
If you move, it's all different. Yeah.
So where I am now, effectively, if I climb down, which is moving 3 squares north,
Yeah.
can I do that in one?
Yes, it's a single move action to climb down to the ground as long as you make your roll.
Yeah. Okay, so I will make a roll to do that.
Okay. Good roll.
15.
Yeah. So, and do you want to try and be stealthy, or are you not bothered?
No, I'm not bothered.
Okay. So that uses 6 squares of movement to get to the ground.
Yeah. And then I've got a direct line to him.
Yeah. You've also got another 4 squares
Actually,
of
you
movement.
say 6 squares of movement. Right. Well, in that case, not even better. I will move up to him and whop him.
It's Toby,
Yeah.
this one. He looks, to be honest, slightly surprised by your arrival.
Yeah. So the first attack is hitting 12, hitting armor class 17,
That is a hit.
doing a D8 3 plus 2 is 5 points of damage,
Okay, yeah.
and then an unarmed strike 20. Oh, that's going to be
It's going to be
11.
that's a miss, I'm afraid. Okay.
There's a miss.
And that's you done, is that it?
And that's... No, I won't waste a key point. No, that's done.
This thing goes, ew! Bugraft.
I'm moving westwards towards the entrance. So, can you tell me at which point it becomes solid ground? So,
what's your movement?
30 foot.
You can move there for 12 squares with the move, yep.
Yeah, so I'm about 10 foot from the entrance.
You're just running up behind Parker. Parker's in combat with this Lizardfolk chap in the entrance to the structure. And we move on to Burple on 11.
Purple's going to continue the endless slog towards the door.
Now you're on normal ground, so you're piling up behind Bugraft.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's a move.
Sessions?
Sessions, I'm going to make a squelch forward and then Toll the Dead tumbling dice on the one next to Parker.
A saving throw, yeah.
Same one, same spell as last time.
Yeah.
Wisdom DC 13.
Rolling a 19 for a save. Does it take damage if it saves?
Nope.
Round to Cuthbert. You can hear combat, Cuthbert, to your north, back towards the entrance. You're not certain, but you think it might be Parker in some sort of struggle with a Lizardfolk.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back along the entrance passageway, do a move action, and then use my second action again to ready to bop any foe that comes within striking distance. I'm being a bit tactical here because I'm choosing a section of the passage which is 5 foot wide.
Parker, we're back to you.
Right. Well, another... Going to whop him again then.
Yeah.
Class 13.
13 is a miss.
Strike. It's a 22.
22 is a hit. How much damage?
That's going to be not very much.
Okay.
6.
Okay. Well, it's looking bloodied, this thing. It doesn't look very well. It doesn't look like it's a particularly strong foe. It does get an opportunity to hit back at you now, though. It uses its club, and it can try and bite you as well. First of all, the club attack, rolling a 10, which is not great, for armor class 14.
No.
And then the bite, rolling a 19 for armor class 23.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you've heard about the Lizardfolk bite and how you think this is probably it for you. You take 5 points of damage.
No nasty poison.
No nasty poison.
Death saving throws. My God, it's rather how unusual.
Disease, but you don't know about that for another couple of days.
Cuthbert.
Yes.
You hear the sound of movement behind you. It's behind you and to your definitely bombastic, significant movement from to your south back into the complex and off in the direction of where the sleeping chamber was and not towards where the harpies live. You can hear the sound of multiple forms moving, and there's a kind of shout. You there who dares defy my kingdom, comes sort of bellowing down the corridor, the passageway from that direction. Bugraft.
Right, I'm going to...
Come on, Bugraft. Now's your chance.
Good. Did he kill the thing next
No, Parker's still in fighting this Lizardfolk.
Right, I will stand next to the creature and I'll bash it. Can I move that? Yes.
Yes, you can, yep. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to... Should I start raging? Maybe not now. Just going to bash. 17 plus something or other. Sure, that's a hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's a 24, and I do 2d6 plus 4. Do 10 points de damage.
Okay, 10 points of damage on this thing. It is still alive. It looks deeply unwell. And we move on to Burple. Burple, you can hear... all of you can hear this shouting from inside, this bombastic kind of voice. This thing is still alive, though.
I will move up and strike the monster upon the head with my +1 sword.
Yep, Halfdom Copdom monster. Whatever it is.
Yep. Hitting armor class 13.
That's an awful lot of dice you roll. Okay, yep. 13 is a miss.
Yeah.
And you miss.
It's very disappointing.
What about Sessions?
I'm still in the boggy ground, yeah?
You're still in the boggy ground, but you're not far from...
Okay, so I edge forward in the boggy ground and I will toll the dead tumbling dice on the head of the one that they're fighting.
Yeah, so it's trying to make another... It's going to make another saving throw. Rolls a 19.
19 again!
Yeah, well...
Outrageous.
Yes, the blue dice of power. And that's the end of the round. We go back to the top of the round, and it's Cuthbert on 24.
Cuthbert's
What do you want
going
to do,
hold his
Cuthbert?
ground and hold his ready in action.
Fine. Parker?
Right, well, I'll whop this guy again.
Yep. I think this might be the end for
Toby, isn't it?
Toby. Oh dear.
Natural 20.
Yeah, okay, I think we can draw a veil, but
Oh,
Sorry.
I don't get to roll all the dice.
I'm sorry. But is
This
it
is
Alex or
Toby.
Toby? This is Toby. Sorry, Toby is
Oh,
no
we'll
more.
be-
He was such a nice chap as well, Toby.
Be a letter about it in the paper or something.
Always had time for everyone.
The booming voice, we can't actually see where it's coming from, right?
It's coming from deep within the
bowels.
structure. From the bowels of the structure.
Okay, well, I won't move then.
All of you hear the sound of motion, tramping feet. Something kind of big, not like a giant big, but like something imposing, something bulky, stomping towards you.
They've got a cave troll.
And
Another Chandler prediction.
Well,
no,
that's
it sounds like a kind of an imposing figure confidently stamping its way towards you, and you can hear the sound of other figures
Brilliant.
with it.
It's the king and his guards. Yes.
Yeah, the big fat one.
And we move on to Parker again.
So, before you all go dashing off, I could set up the Lemon's tiny hut outside,
Yeah.
but we all need to be in it when I cast it.
We also need to do it not right in the doorway, don't we? We need to do it to
Yeah,
one or
we-
other side
do
of
it
the
back a
doorway.
bit.
We could move round about.
But then it gives us a base that we can go back to.
Isn't there some time element here? If we don't get there quick enough, they'll be eaten or something.
Maybe. So fails in
I think there was.
Well, we're assuming they're going to sacrifice this.
the spell ends if I leave its area. So no, it's not. I'm not going to do that. I need to stay with it. Ignore that.
Are we going to move in, or are we going to do?
I don't see why not.
We're not on difficult ground anymore, are we?
No.
And
And
I don't really know what to do. Shall I move up? Yeah, I'll move.
Yeah.
Up. I'll move. Hold on. Let me see. I'll move through the corridor. So that's basically 1, 2, 3.
As soon as
5,
Parker gets within kind of a reasonable distance of me, can I have a free action to kind of go?
Parker, it's Cuthbert. I'm here. Shush. Something's coming.
jolly good. Right.
sure. So Parker, you're
Right.
okay. See, Parker, you get to that point in the corridor and you hear Cuthbert's voice whisper in your ear.
Have a discussion.
Scares
So
the
what's-
living
what-
shit out of you, I suspect.
Shut
Yeah.
your eyes.
And then after Parker, it's the Lizardfolk. The sound of tramping towards you from your south stops. You reckon? Somebody give me an intelligence check, Cuthbert or Parker?
That should be
Yes,
challenging.
really challenging. Cuthbert gets a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 for a 5. Oh,
An 8.
Sorry. Okay. It's difficult for either of you to ascertain how many figures you think you can hear tramping towards you from your west, but it's definitely more than 2, and less than 10. But there's no real way of you can't.
It's
you can't,
more
you're
than
just too
none,
stupid.
and less than some.
More than your exposed fingers.
But these feet stop tramping towards you. They seem to sort of hold,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can hear the sound of, you suspect, of weapons being readied or brandished or shields being readied, and this voice booms out again. It says, "What brings you to my kingdom, intruders?" And we move on to Bugraft.
I'm moving up behind the green
Just
egghead.
wondering, would it not be better for us to stand at the entrance where we can get basically 4 people attacking 2 as they come out of the
It's a
corridor?
jolly good idea. I'm going to stay at the entrance.
So Bugraft is staying where he is.
I'm going to block my ears
Okay,
with
Burple.
something.
I'm just going to move up. Do I have any spells I could usefully do? Anybody wounded?
Yes, I'm a bit wounded.
Are you? How much have you taken?
Taken I've got 39 out of 48. So
Yeah, may as well. Okay, I'll do a cure wounds on Bugraft.
thank you very much.
I'll do a first level one, so excuse me if it's not super powerful.
And sessions.
That's 8 points.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll just move up to the guys at the door.
Yeah, and then Parker.
Right, well, yeah.
And then I'll move.
Why are you moving up?
Why not?
Oh, I thought we were going to stay by the entrance so we get
Well, it would be better for us to stay by
more
the entrance
numbers.
because then more numbers can attack them as they're coming out the corridor.
Yeah.
But they have a harpy who can fly out the hole in the roof that you've just been through.
Yeah.
But we'd have 3 people attacking 2.
Okay, so Burple is sort of halfway between the entrance and where Cuthbert and Parker are. Yep.
It's still Parker.
So I'm going to move back to the entrance, and I'm going to say to
You're
Cuthbert as
basically
I
running in and out like GoldenEye
Well,
bad guys.
I ran in because I was going to have a look down the corridor, and then Cuthbert basically tapped me on the shoulder. So now I know that these guys are, coming. I say to Cuthbert, let's fall back to the entrance where we can basically attack them better when they come.
You're assuming melee.
What else is there too?
Magic.
Yeah, all the more reason not to be in a line for a lightning bolt.
So a couple of things happen next. The first thing that happens is that round the corner into the entrance passageway, Cuthbert, you're 15 feet from this junction, unseen obviously, hustling round the corner. I think that would be the best way of putting it. A couple of lizardfolk come, one after the other, looking wary, looking combat ready, and then stomping behind them comes this great big figure. One of the lizardfolk certainly, but bulkier, is very imposing looking personage. It is wearing some sort of ceremonial vestment, something that's going over its shoulders, a sort of half necklace, half surplice, like a priest's thing. It looks like there are representations on it of creatures. One of the representations seems to be some sort of dark winged figure, draconic figure, you would say, on one side. On the other side, it looks like the stylized head of one of the lizardfolk, but it's gleaming, the head, and domed.
Right.
And this thing is carrying a trident. The trident is crackling with some sort of black energy, and it is wearing a weird kind of belt, like a wrestler's belt or something, like a trophy belt. Yes, it doesn't look like it's of lizardfolk manufacture at all. And it sort of stands there. It can't see you, and it can't see the others. It might just be able to kind of pick up the sense that Burple, those guys are there, but it can't see them, so it doesn't know it's being observed. It stands there, and it kind of goes,
Oh, let's go, find out what's going on.
and it sort of pushes one of its lieutenants in the back, and that lieutenant sort of takes another cautious step forward. As it does so, this thing lifts its trident and seems to sort of concentrate on it, and the black crackling energy that is around it looks like it's starting to build up. Sessions, back outside, you hear something, Sessions. From behind you, right next to the side of the structure, a sort of protuberance, a bit where you think it might be the little bit of kind of the outcropping limb that Parker used for concealment when he was climbing up. You hear, tss, and if you glance over, you see another lizardfolk. This figure looks very different. Maybe some kind of spirit leader or something. Completely different, much smaller, much slighter. Male or female, you cannot tell, maybe of no gender in particular. But this figure is stooped. It's wearing necklaces, bracelets of animals' teeth, and is daubed in what you can only assume to be ceremonial markings. You get the sense that this figure is some kind of spirit leader, some kind of shamanic figure. And it beckons towards you, and we'll pick things up next time.
Ooh, interesting.
So speculating, forces of evil have infiltrated and taken over in amongst the lizard folk, this guy being the case in point. Meanwhile, there is a faction that doesn't want to follow them and that thinks...
It's just a kind of war-y faction and a spiritual faction.
The The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. Encounter at Blackwall Keep and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. Encounter at Blackwall Keep was written by Sean K. Reynolds. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!